How is everybody doing? Alrighty then, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, but this is on Push Square. The state of the UK's physical games market might explain PS4 Pro's lack of disk drive. Digital world, okay. We all know that digital games are up and physical are down. It's not a surprise to anyone. I have kind of a problem with that because, as we have seen plenty of times in the past with digital games, they can just go to your account and remove the game, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you have the physical copy, it's a bit more hard for them to come and take your copy away, but in a way, okay, it might explain that, but the disk drive is always sold. Ever since they announced the PS5 Pro, the disk drive has been sold out, and that's because people want physical games. This is also the thing I have a problem with, because they are reducing the amount of physical games, and then they are complaining that physical games are not selling as much. It's like we saw with I think it was Alan Wake 2, that came out and it all damn it, words, it only came out digitally. I think that was a big problem for them, because as we've seen, Alan Wake 2 hasn't made its money back as of now, and I'm not saying the physical version of the game would be enough for them to gain the money back, but it would have helped. If you remove completely the physical edition of a game, then you are completely removing the revenue from those sales. It might not be that, it might, even if it's, for example, if a game sells 70% digital and 30% physical, if you only sell digital, you are losing that 30% of the sales, if that is making sense. Because, for example, I only buy a digital game if it's in a good promotion. I never bought a full price digital game. Never did that on release never. If I'm going to pay full price for a game, it's a physical game. I will not pay full price for a digital game. If on release the digital games were cheaper than the physical, which I think they should, then that would be another conversation. But year on year, the country's video game revenue for 2024 was down 4.4% overall, but physical sales specifically were down by nearly 35%. Digital sales, by comparison, were overall down by 1%. So even digital sales, it's basically significant, but even digital sales were down. Maybe also that is because there hasn't been any great games recently. This last year had some good games, but not that great hyped game for the year, if I'm explaining myself good enough here. Because, for example, this year we will have GTA 6. That would be that game will be massive. 2024 didn't have a game like that. It had some great games throughout the year, but not that overhyped mega game of the year. But we will see. I still think physical games will make a comeback, but I might be wrong. And this is on Eurogamer, and I talked about this yesterday. Shadow of the Colossus film gets positive update more than 10 years after its director was first announced. Is it just me, or I didn't even know they were making a Shadow of Colossus movie? And I'm like, even yesterday I talked about they are making adaptations of everything, and now even this, and I'm like, why is Sony so obsessed with making adaptations of every single game they have? It was the Ratchet and Clank movie. I think they are making a TV show or a movie of Days Gone. They are making an anime of Ghost of Tsushima, a movie or a TV show. I think it's a movie of Horizon Zero Dawn, a TV show of God of War. Gravity Rush is also getting a movie. Uncharted and Uncharted is now getting a sequel as well. It's like, my God, can we just get games, please? This past year, the only Sony IP PlayStation Studios games that released was Astrobot. And okay, Astrobot, I haven't played it yet, but from what I've seen, it's a very good game. But only one game from all the PlayStation Studios they have, only one game came out this last year. That is stupid. That is just, oh my God, they need to start releasing more games and bring back some franchises that people have been asking, like Jack and Dexter, for example, or Killzone, Resistance, Infamous. They have so many, and they are wasting money making movies of games, but they are not making. It's like the Days Gone. They refuse to make a Days Gone sequel, but they are doing a TV show of Days Gone. It's like, man, I don't understand that logic. But and now for a bit, I don't usually talk about. It's not that I don't usually talk about this. I try to avoid it, but I found this very funny. Former Concord players are not happy with Marvel Rivals' success. Why did Concord have to die and Marvel Rivals gets to live? Let me think about it. Maybe because Marvel Rivals is a good game? Just maybe? I don't know. It might sound crazy, but the top-ranked response currently reads, it plays nothing like Concord. I personally don't like the movement or shooting at all, and I don't get all the hype and praise it's getting. If you want similar gameplay to Concord, why would I want that? Destiny 2 is your best bet, but the PvP in that game is basically unplayable, unfortunately, but the PvE is still good. Another one replied, I feel like the majority of the hype praise it's getting is just because it's one of the first good online Marvel games to come out in this entire period of the MCU box office domination, which is waning, and a lot of people who are unhappy with Overwatch trying to signal boost a competitor. The game itself feels pretty damn unpolished and unbalanced compared to Overwatch and even Concord. But the numbers tell another story, because Marvel Rivals is getting more play. Let me see this in a bit. Okay, let's go here and let's go Marvel Rivals. Why are you doing this right now? Marvel Rivals. Okay, where is it? Why? It's here. Okay. Look at these numbers. It has almost 350,000 players right now. I think Overwatch is on Steam, right? Yeah, Overwatch 2. How many players? Is this Overwatch 2? Really? 16,000? What? You are comparing these two games? Really? And what was the other one? They talked about other one. It was Destiny. Let's see how Destiny is doing. Shall we? Destiny 2. Look at this. And I think, yeah, right here, a year ago Destiny had 300,000 people playing. In a year time, Destiny lost 80,000 people. It's like they lost 80% of players. And Marvel Rivals, it's basically maintaining everyone, right? Because look at this, the peak was 480, it's at 340, so it lost a bit of players, like every game does, but in a space of a month, it's holding up pretty good. So I don't know, maybe you guys are wrong with this one. Why did Concord have to die and Marvel Rivals get to live? Oh my god, it's such an enigma. It's not as fun as Concord by a long shot. I hate this timeline. So, one people says it's not as fun, 300 plus thousand people say it's more fun. I don't know. Maybe you are wrong. Well, charging $40 when literally every hero shooter is a free was a very big misstep. That is another one. And a very good point, because Marvel Rivals is free. Everyone can download it, everyone can try it. Concord, why the hell would I spend money on that game? Why? Even if I was to spend money, I would prefer to buy Helldivers. It's a way better game. Being free won't save the game, buddy, and Marvel Rivals isn't having success because it's free. It's one of the main factors. Yes, it is, because if Marvel Rivals wasn't free, it would have had success anyway because of the Marvel name, I suppose, but it would not be as big as it is. But I don't know, this was on Fandom Pulse if you guys are curious, and man, just let Concord die. It was a $400 million mistake by PlayStation. A $400 million. $400 million. Oh my god, they refused to do a Days Gone sequel, but they spent $400 million on this bullshit. Oh my god, what is PlayStation doing? With that money they could have done a reboot of the infamous franchise Killzone Resistance. They could have done so much, and they spent it on this BS game. I don't even know what to say anymore. Let's move on into, well, it's Marvel Rivals anyway. Mr. Fantastic is voiced by Dragon Ball Z's Ocean Dub Goku in Marvel Rivals. Okay, Mr. Super Saiyan. The actors leading their voices to Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman in Marvel Rivals have been revealed. Mr. Fantastic is voiced by Ian James Corlett, best known for playing Goku in the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z, and Invisible Woman is being voiced by Suzy Young, whose voice game credits includes appearance in Fortnite, Like a Dragon Infinity Wealth, and she's also Yuffie in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Man, they are going strong with these voice actors. This is on The Gamer if you guys are curious. But yeah, I've been wanting to try Marvel Rivals for a while now, but I still haven't had the chance to do it. But this first season seems to be very good, and they seem to start off with a very good season. I even saw that, but I've seen them talking that this first season is getting all of this content, but from the second season forward, the seasons will not get this much content on a regular basis, if I understood that right. But I think it's a good start. If they keep basically one new hero or two per season, I think that's good enough. I think the players will appreciate that, but we will see. And now to end on another failure of 2024, Dragon Age Veilguard. Ex-BioWare designer calls Dragon Age Veilguard's writing condescending. Here's the thing, I haven't played the game. I'm not gonna start saying shit about the game. I haven't played the game. I've saw some people talking about it. Overall, it doesn't seem a very good game. BioWare, it also made Mass Effect. I enjoyed very much the Mass Effect games. This might be a bit unpopular, but I even enjoyed Andromeda. I know it's the worst one, and it's not a very good game overall, I know that, but I enjoyed it, and I thought it was okay. But I guess this guy is an ex-BioWare designer, and this is what he says. I think it's a decent game with high production values. Ross began. There are a few things that stand out as a bit of condescending. Maybe condescending isn't the right word either because it sounds harsh. What I'm trying to say is that I'm getting strong Dan Brown vibes from the game, author of the Da Vinci Code. As in, I really have to tell you what I'm about to do so that you understand how smart I am as a writer. But in this case, it's more along the lines of, look how many choices we are giving you as a player. Look, we remember that you made this choice. From what I've seen, the game doesn't really have that much choice, but Ross goes on to criticize the Veilguard's reminder system. Often, the game's UI will tell you the current dialogue is affected by past decisions and or dialogue choices. She describes conversations with Lucanis where he remembers what Rook's favorite beverage is much later in the story, something that doesn't warrant an on-screen reminder. It doesn't really tell me much, except the game doesn't trust me to pay enough attention to what is happening, so it feels I need to be reminded. It is heavy-handed, inconsistently heavy-handed, which means I pay more attention to it, she says. Okay, here's the thing. I think the thing is, the game doesn't trust me to pay enough attention. Or maybe even the developers knew they had a bad game and they knew they had to remind the player from time to time what their choices were. Because if you trust in your story and you have trust in the game you are making, you don't need to do that. The player, if it's good enough, the player will remember his choices and will remember the story overall. Ross is also critical of how the Veilguard handles Tash's gender arc, calling it somewhat clumsy. She stressed that she strongly supports the storyline, of course she does, but feels the game handles it poorly. She explains, I feel it was somewhat clumsy, and a pat on the head approach that leads me to feel spoken down to rather than supportive of Tash. It becomes really apparent when having drinks with Isabella, Bellara and Tash. This sequence is so heavy-handed it's almost cringe-worthy, especially in combination with all the other times Tash's choices are being pretty much handed to the player. The insistence that I take notice of their choices and respect them. Hook even loses some of their snarkiness and the game pushes me to be empathetic towards Tash. This is the other thing I saw people complaining was that, for example, in Mass Effect, you could choose to be a total asshole to everyone and insult everyone. In this game, it doesn't let you do that. You have choice, but the only choices you have is to be nice to everyone, which is like, what's the point in that, you stupid idiots? Ross is referring to a scene with Isabella, Bellar and Tash where a trio along with Hook are drinking at the hilt. Isabella accidentally misgenders Tash and does a set of push-ups as a means of self-punishment. I saw this cutscene and I was like, who in the fucking hell thought this was a good idea? It's so stupid. I find this all, you must not misgender this or you must be punished if you misgender some. It's like, that is so stupid. You are only going to turn people away and turn people against you if you are going to punish them for a misgender, for example. It's so retarded. The group then discusses how Tash isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords of Fortune. In comparison, I'm almost annoyed at the game and at Tash for being so in my face about their coming to terms with themselves, even if I honestly and deeply support this kind of transformation and level of self-discovery. Ross goes on, to a certain extent the game feels derivative of itself. It's so anxious to present itself as a BioWare game and as a Dragon Age game that it almost becomes a parody of itself. I don't know. I will not talk about that because Dragon Age, I was interested in trying the first one that came out, but I never did because I don't know, it doesn't seem like a game I will enjoy that much. I'm not saying it's a bad game or this or that, but personal choice, I don't think it's a game for me. But man, I don't know. Let me know what you think of all of this story with Dragon Age. I all of this about punishment with misgender, and you have to acknowledge my identity. I find all of that just bullshit, but well, I don't live in America, so I don't know how that is over there. But every time I see things about this, it's so annoying and so stupid, but I guess it is what it is. Let me know if you guys are excited about the Shadow of Colossus movie and all of those adaptations that they are making. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.